Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Issues at Hand, WBS TV. Your host, Peter Chivazo. I know today the voice may not be the very usual, but you'll forgive a few of those lapses. We'll still manage to go on. And viewers, today we go to Luero. On Thursday, there is a by-election. The second in a set of them, and therefore the third election in Luero for the woman member of parliament. They had won in 2011 with everyone else, which was won by Rebecca Naruanga of the NRM. She went to parliament. While she was in parliament, her colleagues from the NRM, including Ewan Lugude, I can't quite recall the other name, took her to court, insisted she had not only bribed, but she had rigged herself into victory. The Lugude at the time had been the third in the race. Therefore, Rebecca Naruanga had been number one, Brenda Nabukenya had been number two, Lugude had been number three. There was a Masiko, I know she's wife to, is he still captain or Major Masiko or Kano, whatever the rank, he'll excuse me. Yes.
The wife is this, the former minister.
Okay. Right. So, viewers, we're talking Luero. With me in the studio, I have Charles Romshana. I should have had Haji Abdunaduli in the studio. About 40 minutes ago, he told me that he had just walked out of a meeting with HE, the president, and the other Kakuyege team. I hope he was saying the truth. And therefore, he was unable to make it in Kampala. And we understand. The other team, the Brenda Nabukenya team, was also traveling on the road, and they couldn't, for any reason, make it. We wish them safety. Charles, good evening.
Oh, the Almighty God is great. Good evening.
Right, viewers, I was taking you through after the first election, Rebecca Naruanga served for barely a year in parliament. She was knocked down by the High Court for having bought her way into parliament. One of the proved points is she gave 50,000 notes to certain communities, and she was knocked out of the election at the time. A by-election was held, and Rebecca Naruanga offered herself, Wan Lugude offered herself, and Masiko offered herself. The three of them were defeated by Brenda Nabukenya of the Democratic Party by a paltry 30 votes. They sought for a recount. She beat Rebecca Naruanga by 34 votes. She sought for a recount. And when they went to do the recount the next day, for some ungodly reason, the room in which the boxes had been locked, the ballot boxes, had been broken into. And also the seals on all the ballot boxes had been broken. Therefore, the returning officer said it was beyond him, basing on a ruling out of Justice Chibuka Musoke in Mbarara, the election between Winnie Byanyima and Ngoma Ngime, I think that is 2001, said basing on that, he couldn't do the recount. Rebecca Naruanga went to court. Therefore, Brenda Nabukenya has been in parliament for about a year and a half. So, Luero has been represented by two members of parliament in barely 3 years.
3 years.
They are going to another election. Because the High Court said the Electoral Commission should have counted. They didn't find fault with Nabukenya, but they found the fault with the Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commission conceded. Indeed, we should have recounted, but we did not. They appealed, Brenda Nabukenya appealed, and the Court of Appeal said, but you were not party to the initial suit. Go back to the election. Charles, before I show you my pictures, what do you think of the election on Thursday? President Museveni has been there. Practically everyone that is in the political terrain in Uganda has been to Luero, yes, except the Secretary General of the NRM.
The Secretary General is there. Actually, what's interesting about that election, it has united two forces that we thought couldn't have united easily. Because I think Kenya had wanted some bit of action on Amama before he cooperates with NRM and some actors in the NRM. But now, Bukenya is overtly in the election in Ruwero for DP, and Amama is also there underground. So don't think he's not active. He's active. We have tracked his actors via Masaka. If you can check his boys, and you know some of those boys, they are tactical. Is in Masaka, and they are coordinating it.
No, Charles. That
now you don't really know. You see, it's
I get to the election itself proper. What do you think of the election? If you were to call the election,
you asked me what do I think. I even told you what I know. So if you are here sleeping, because for you, what you know that he's not there.
That is certain.
Yeah, that's what you know, that the
Yes.
Secretary General is not there.
And that is not a big issue because the chairman is there.
No, it's a big issue.
The fellow that was deployed to work in his office is there.
Ruwero,
Richard Todong is there. The administrator at the party, One Galiwango, is there. Rose Namayanja is there. Yes, I am.
Catholic like me. But we add another word, Roman Catholic.
Yes.
Yes, it can't be Kampala Catholic, it's Roman. Now, if you are talking about NRM and Ruwero, it's credo land, it's historical.
It is their Mecca.
It has a huge significance. There are a lot of rituals that they have performed there. There is when we celebrated the victory of NRM, and the president was talking about bringing white men to come and look at the scars, etc., to show what Obote did there. So it's significant. It's again very significant in the sense that you bring there the president of UPC. The president of UPC and Major General Mugisha Muntu have met on one side, because Major General Mugisha Muntu was an actor there alleging that Otuna group killed people. Now they are together. What is the president telling them? I'm busy fighting, I've been fighting Kona, I've been fighting the other actors. So we are having realignment of forces. The second point is that NRM shouldn't have beaten DP in Ruwero, because this was a base area for the Democratic Party.
Originally.
Yes, versus UPC. It's like NRM beating UPC in Lango, beating UPC in Akokoro area. That's significant. You can't write it off. So for NRM to have beaten DP in Ruwero is significant. Because
Charles, actually, I think on the contrary that
it was
in the politics of Uganda today, NRM's cradleland would be Luero. It is for NRM to be beaten in Luero that actually
that's why you are now having a reversal, because DP was swallowed, including its President General Dr. Kawanga Semogere joined the NRM. So and that's why literally DP collapsed. It's trying to rejuvenate. It's recovering. And in my view, its recovery is remarkable. Is remarkable because they willingly gave up themselves, the Democratic Party, like the way you see DP had willingly given up itself, its best areas to FDC, the way UPC gave its best areas to FDC, and in most areas, UPC is failing to recover its ground in Western Nile, most parts of Teso, it's failing to recover because it willingly gave its best. Bugisu, this was UPC base, but FDC took it up. Now, DP refused to be swallowed by FDC. It said no. And you have been having fights in Entebbe. You have had fights in the Masaka area. FDC has been doing terribly badly. It has been doing very, very badly in areas of DP. Actually, FDC couldn't even front a candidate in Ruwero. So you see, DP is beginning to recover. It's recovering, and the recovery is remarkable. But DP shouldn't beat, actually shouldn't even contest the ground of NRM, of that, because the Ruwero people are the owners of NRM. But now you're having a big problem in Ruwero, which I think they are reading, that the grandchildren of the veterans, those who are older than Haji Naduli, because Haji Naduli by that time was more or less like a youth. But the originals, the actors now are grandchildren. This lady, Brenda, she either falls into the children of the veterans or the grandchildren. They are saying, what did we fight for? What did our grandparents fight for? Or what did our parents fight for? We don't see the fruits. Now, they read They see these fruits in Mbarara, they read. They see these fruits in Nusaf, in northern Uganda. They read, they see projects going to eastern Uganda. Of course, much of it is eaten Prime Minister's office. You have had the Ruero, you have had
Ruero, Rwenzori.
A lot of funds for Ruero, they even gave them a ministry. If you remember the times of, I think, Sama Mugerwa.
There's been Chisamba Mugerwa, there was Dr. Samson Kiseka, there's been Nyombi Tembo. I don't know who is there now.
Now, so it's the people of Ruero shouldn't now be asking, what is it? What is our thing? They shouldn't be asking. Actually, now the president should be doing accountability. Should be saying, you see, I promised the following, now we're at around 60%, we're around 70%. But now you're having a different situation where you tell them, boss, I'm not a Jesus Christ.
I loved that one. I'll tell you, from a purely governance school, I think for the first time I had Museveni that was a president of Uganda. He was saying, gentlemen, ladies, if you are asking for hospitals, yes, the hospital was taken to Nakaseke, and therefore Luero doesn't have a hospital. I find that interesting. The headquarters of Luero district does not have a roof because it was blown off by the wind about 3-4 months ago. So they don't have a district headquarters. But he said, we can do these things in time. And all the other things they were asking, he said, but I may be a believer, but I am not Jesus Christ. I'm not going to perform miracles. The Yoweri Museveni of yesterday would say things will happen, they shall be. I mean, what is the disparity here? Why is Museveni saying, to hell, if I haven't done them, you also understand? Why is it?
Yeah, because he's facing two situations. One is Uganda is at war in South Sudan. That war needs money. Actually, it's competing with health services. The health service sector is shrinking, because we must sustain our soldiers to must take care of them in South Sudan. We are not seeing an exit strategy. We are not seeing an end, and this is an objective situation on the ground. Then you now have politicians, and you have even the civil people, the wananchi, asking you for hard things and instant. Actually, it's like a trade.
But I mean, you've been promising these things for a bloody 28 years.
Yeah, you see, if you read the manifesto, Uganda gets transformed in a day, gets transformed at once. And it's not possible, it's not how you do things. But this is what the people want. They want to be lied.
Yeah, but
they don't want to be told the objective truth.
These people of Luero have been with Museveni throughout, from 1981 to date. Now, when he came to government, he says, we are going to turn this around into a Mecca. I have had opportunity many months ago to talk to General Saleh, and he was saying, oh, I promised to those people a tomato sauce machine that would, factory or plant, that would convert all their tomatoes so that they are not on the roads and lost on the roads. It hasn't come. And they are saying, but Jama, what is happening? They had a project on coffee and maize. And things haven't happened. If you want maize in Uganda, you go to Chigumba, you go to Busoga, you don't go to Luero. So these young boys and girls, what has happened? Has the money been eaten? Has the project just been too big? Or have we done a project that we should never have done anyway? Because what are these reparations? When will you pay reparations to Karamoja where they lost cows? When will you pay reparations to Teso, to Gulu, to Acholi, to the Langi, to the West Nilers? Can we afford that notion of paying reparations every day?
You see, the Luero won the war. It won the war based on hope. The biggest, the strongest weapon that Luero had, the strongest weapon that the president had, was that the people, the population, had hope. They had hope in themselves. They had hope. They had trust in themselves. They had hope in the future. And of course, the future hasn't ended. It should have come yesterday. It should have come today, but it's still there. Now, this hope can be sustained through a conversation. Yes, but who is engaging in the population? Those who are engaging in the population is General Saleh. And General Saleh, by and large, is a soldier. Fine, he was there, but he's not the government. So you reach a stage where the president says, okay, now tell with my government, I'm going to bring you my soldiers. Bring Sare, bring I think some other officer and the brigadier Narways. If you follow that project on veterans. In other words, there is a frustration. Frustration because the political class is not working. Now, then, because we raised it with the president in Mwea, we told him, look, the young, forget about these youths here who are quarreling amongst themselves. That time we told him, these elders are letting us down. They don't want to get involved into this conversation. Theirs is to amass wealth, primitive capital accumulation. We don't have, we are not delivering services because of this blatant corruption. So, what we do? What we help us and throw them out? And he promised he would was going
Wasn't
to do
that blackmail?
No. I mean, that was our proposal. Because you need a politician who should involve himself, indulge himself with the population in a conversation to restore and maintain hope. Because the best we have that there is for this country is in the future. So you educate the children, you empower the children, and the population remains hopeful. But now you have Professor Bukenya, who is the chairman, who is the chairman of Buganda region, joining DP openly.
No, supporting Brendan Nabukenya.
No, it's DP because Brendan Nabukenya is a candidate.
Of course, Charles, you know that President Museveni did that in Teso. He supported an FDC candidate and left an NRM candidate and said, this one we can collaborate. He has supported independent candidates against the NRM.
Yeah, but you see, he's the chairman of the party.
Therefore,
it could have been strategic. Yes.
What makes you think that he has a right to do it and these other members?
You know, he's the steer, because you see, he's the chairman of the High Command. He's the chairman of the party. The two are fused in him. It's strategic. He knows when to withdraw, when to attack, when to move on the flanks. The Kenyans of this world are actors. You cannot take on independent line and you say, I'm seeing strategy in this, and you have not discussed it with your chairman. But by and large, you now have...
Are you worried about the positions that people like Professor Bukenya have taken and the silence of
yes,
those...
the reason...
Hold on. And the silence of those that were actually supposed to compete against Naruanga? Because the president wooed them, talked to them, and asked them out. But they have quietly disappeared off the scene. They haven't been seen on rallies. They haven't been up there drumming up support for her. They've just quietly disappeared.
The ministers you have there are Kidu Makubia.
He's on the rallies.
Yes, Kidu Makubia, but
he's no longer a minister.
I mean, but I'm talking about the ministers. He may not be an active minister as of today, but these are the pillars. The pillars of that area, of the triangle. You have this lady, former Minister of Finance, Saida Bumba. You have
Rose Namayanja.
But you see Rose Namayanja now, zero profile, because these other actors. Now, Buruwero borders Wakiso.
But look at this. Look at this. The Luero you're talking about has Jesse Muyingo. It has, if you talk about what was the Greater Luero, you have Jesse Muyingo, you have Rose Namayanja. He's Minister of Education.
You go and check. Go and check how many know him.
You have Rose Namayanja, you have the Attorney General, Peter Nyombi from the Greater Luero. I mean, all these are actors.
Yes, but
you have Abraham Yandala, the one that holds the second largest budget in this country.
Yeah, but see, who among them can hold the rally? Who among those you've mentioned can on his own hold the rally? Go tell people, I'm coming to address you in this place, and there is a rally. A rally you would talk about, a rally you would define as a rally, not these simple crowds. I mean, people who pull people. People have that magnet.
I mean, these people have won elections. Muyingo won an election.
But you know they win. You see, for them to win in that area, they have to say, we are close to President Museveni and he will give us ministries. You get it? It's not them that pull the population. And that has been the problem that President Museveni has been facing, because in NRM you have two actors. You have President Museveni as an actor, and you have NRM with its infrastructure, and then of course with the advantages it gets of being fused with the state infrastructure. But the politicians you have do not have that political magnet to pull crowds, to pull the population.
Viewers, I'm taking a break. When I return with pictures straight from Luero. that our team captured today. We'll return with pictures from Luero, and Charles will give me his insights looking at these pictures. Don't go away.